all the people that's passing judgment on Cassie and saying what y'all would or would have not done in her situation, have you ever been in that situation? Have you ever been 19 years old and the biggest nigga in the game, one of the most richest black men in the world, chose you to fuck with you? Like, you really, really, I ain't gonna even go there. I got a question. Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody and it started off real, real good and you thought this man was the end all be all, and this man ended up being one of the worst fucking people you ever met in your life? You asked God, why did this ever fucking happen to me? And God told you it had to happen. So you could learn, and so you could know, and so you could be the one that look at some shit from a different perspective. If you never been in a situation, if you never been in a domestic violence situation, if you never been in a relationship with somebody who wouldn't put their hands on you but mentally abuse you, emotionally manipulated you, like, have you ever put on those shoes and walked in them motherfuckers? For real. Like, have you ever been in that headspace? Now magnify that times a million. That's what that girl had to fucking deal with. Like, could you, like, I'm gonna tell y'all, well, this is my perspective. Just say he was a regular dude, you know. It's real easy to leave a dude, you know, you got 5 big brothers, you know, you got a daddy, you know, you the baby of 6, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. And then this dude is just a regular dude. Like, he ain't no Diddy. Real shit. Let's just say what it is. A nigga ain't no Diddy. That's a different perspective. But magnify that times a million, and that's what you got. Real shit. Like, that's what you got. That man had that girl whole life in his hands. He had her future in his hands. And he can, like, end her everything. And, like, he did that. And, like, to be honest, like, man, everything, what comes up must come down. You reap what you sow. Real shit. If you was a God Almighty and you did everything, if you did everything right by people, you would have people speaking up for you. If you did everything right by people, like, you, people be at your forefront. Ain't nobody at this nigga forefront. But I had to get off the internet because the niggas versus the bitches is getting on my nerves. And the bitches that think they know some shit, because let's be honest, they making comments based off their perspective from their experiences in their life. They never had to deal with a nigga like that. So it's real easy to say, oh, you could leave. How could you leave a nigga? You see what this nigga did to her? Well, my view on things is different because I have lived and I have gone through a situation that was nowhere near that detrimental, but it was abuse. Like, I just gotta say what it was. It's abuse. It was something that I wasn't familiar with. It was something that I hadn't experienced. And at the time that I was going through this, y'all, I was 30. I was 30, early 30s, 31, 32, 33, 34. Like, yeah, and it was years. And then it was so crazy. People say, why you didn't leave? Why you didn't leave? Why you didn't leave? Y'all, the funny shit is the nigga was at my house. Like, we lived at my house. Like, he moved in with me. Like, me and my daughter had already been established. And I'm talking about 5 years plus. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, why you wouldn't leave? But y'all, let me tell y'all something. In my head, no lie, after going through all that shit, I was ready to leave everything. Him, that, everything. Y'all, I had mentally prepared myself for that. And I'm talking in circles because I can't tell y'all the gusto, but I'm going to tell y'all whatever. So I mentally prepared myself, and I was like, you know what? Y'all, I literally said I'll sleep in my car. But y'all, let me tell y'all what happened. I was like, you know, I told him exactly what was going on, and he came around with the gusto, and he told me give him another chance, y'all. I gave him one last chance, but in my head, I was already checked out. I was already gone. So I'm just really waiting on you to fuck up so I can sign, seal, and deliver that motherfucker shit. Real shit, because I was already done. I was done then. And it took months. Like, I literally say it took like 5 more months. But y'all, let me tell y'all. Because this is where it comes from when they was like, why you want to leave? Why you want to leave? Our last argument, the final day when he left my household. the last day when he left my house. I did not know he was gonna leave my house. I did not know that that day was gonna be the end all be all, y'all. Let me tell y'all what I heard. We was having a argument, and his sister was there, and his sister said, "Why don't you just leave?" Right? Mind y'all, I had been telling the motherfucker for leave for months. You know what I'm saying? But when I tell him, he like, I ain't going no motherfucker with this, and that. But when his sister say, "Why you just won't leave?" That nigga say, "I ain't going nowhere. They can go." That nigga said they. Mind you, they is the only two motherfuckers that's on that goddamn lease that's on that official document for that fucking residency. So you said they could leave? They shit? That you came in? That's how I'm thinking. And y'all, wrap it all up in a bow. And I can't even say I ever tell this story, because to be honest, y'all, when I tell y'all this story will be, that motherfucking story be a book. Real shit. Fuck a story. I need to write a fucking book, because that story will be a book. I'm talking about, we ain't even gonna go there. But y'all, let me tell y'all, when I heard him say that, and after that, an altercation occurred, and it was bad. But y'all, let me tell y'all, he walked out my door, and I locked that bitch and put a chair behind it, and then opened it no more. The police came and everything. I still didn't open my door. This happened on a Saturday. By the time I opened my door again, it was Wednesday. That's how serious I was. Real shit. But y'all, that was years of torture, torment, and abuse. When I tell you lows, highs and lows, but lows, like, man, I did a shit. I sent my baby to go live with my ex-boyfriend at the time. Like, yeah, I was like, oh, that's why I feel a certain way, and I just gotta check out with that shit, because that shit remind me of the shit I lived. And if you ain't never lived that shit, you really can't say nothing about it. Real shit. And that's And what's so funny is, dudes really think that's okay. Dudes be like, "Oh, what you do? Why you didn't leave?" Like, bro, this gotta take a deep breath dealing with some shit like that. Y'all, I just thought about this, y'all. So I remember when I shut the door, right? And I put a motherfucking chair behind it. Y'all, I put the chair behind the door, and he was just knocking. Then he stopped knocking. And when he stopped, he paused. And I went in my daughter's room, and I was talking to her. And I was crying, and I apologized to her. And some told me to get up. Yeah, I got up and I went to our room, well, my motherfucking bedroom, and I moved the blinds. As soon as I moved the blinds, that nigga was about to lift that motherfucking window up. And soon as, when I tell y'all, slam that motherfucking lock so fast and lock that bitch, and it was unlocked because we used to crack it, you know, to let a little breeze in. But yeah, y'all, y'all, when I tell y'all, like, that right there was like a life lesson that I learned. And like the good Lord said, you had to learn it. But I didn't never think he'd be that nigga that teach me my lesson. But he was the nigga that taught me my lesson. Yeah, y'all. It's crazy though. Like, it's crazy. Like, if I sat down and told that story, that hoe would be so long. I ain't got time. Like, and then the way I tell stories, I tell stuff and I pause and go back, but no, I can't. I ain't ready. Like, to be honest, and I'm God honest truth, the therapist, no, I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done wrapped all this shit up, bowling out. I'm still healing. You ain't never healed. You just heal. You're a part of your healing every day. That's the way I feel. You know what I'm saying? But like, that point in my life, like, it was a certain point in time where, like, for years, for real. But now I'm more like, I ain't mad. You know, like, I ain't gonna even lie and tell y'all some shit. When it, like, for years I was like, if I see that motherfucker, I'll bye. You know what I'm saying? Not bye, like shoot the nigga. But bye, like go off with my mouth. Because, yeah, that nigga couldn't fuck with my mouth. He couldn't fuck with my mouth. He could not fuck with my mouth. And I said for years, if I see that nigga, I'll go off on him. Yeah, I ain't gonna even lie. I'm at a point in my life, I saw that nigga now, like, I just make sure I'm cute and smile at that bitch. Like, real shit. Long as I'm cute when I see that bitch. But let me tell y'all something. I ain't even got to be cute when I see that bitch. Because, bitch, no matter if I'm cute or not, whenever you see me, bitch, I will look way better than I look when you was with me, stressing me the fuck out. So, Now my nigga calling me.